Hey, what's going on, people? Masterminds, rebels, and all in between. My name is Oshim Phoenix. I am one of the co founders of Mastermind Connect. I'm the founder of a self development platform called the Rebel Camp and now the Inner Warriorship Academy. But man, we got a great topic today, and I'm glad that we're having this. Because it is definitely cuffing season is in full swing. Like we are dead in the middle of cuffing season. And I got questions, y'all. I got questions for y'all. And this topic was a popular topic amongst the men of Mastermind Connect. And that topic today is, do nice guys finish last? Do nice guys finish last? I don't know. Does it seem like the more of an asshole you are, the more you get out of life? Is it more so, having morals and manners, etc., what it means to be a gentleman, all this thing that they teach, these things that they teach us? What really is the solution? Do you have to have a balance, a little bit of both, a little bit of nice guy, a little bit of asshole? I don't know. So we're going to figure it out today, but I'm very happy. Like I said, once again, my name is Oshim Phoenix. I'm very happy today because I have two guests. They're actually Mastermind Connect members. And like I said, this is a popular topic amongst the fellas. We talk in the private group. And just a quick plug, if you are a man and you are looking for a brotherhood, you're looking to have some real honest conversation, be held accountable, and just be connected to your passions and be connected to a brotherhood, then go to mastermindconnect.com. If you are interested in joining that platform, we have all types of virtual goodies. So now I'm going to bring on two guests, two buddies of mine. I consider these guys friends. I want to bring on Mr. Abraham Oliver.
Hey, how's it going?
Abraham, what's going on, player? What's going on, player?
Not much, man. Just out here living. You know how it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we've been peoples for a while, and you are currently located in Philly, right?
Yep.
But originally, where are you from?
I'm actually from Philly, so came back home. All the craziness during the pandemic, just trying to do what I can, figure out what the next steps are going to be in 2021.
Word. And so the ladies don't bother me and DM me. Are you currently single or?
I am single.
Okay. All right. So ladies, leave me alone. You don't have to DM me. You can DM him very directly, because this is what I get and I should start charging for this service. Nah, but in all honesty, man, it's always good to catch up with you and always good to see you. And we're going to get into it tonight because I know you have some interesting perspectives.
Yeah, so, I'm excited.
I hope you have your little drink on the side, but we're going to get into it tonight. The next guest that I have is Mr. Eric Boyce, all the way from the West Coast.
Hey, what's up, Mike? What up, man? How's it going?
What's going on, player? How's everything, man?
Everything's good. Can't complain. Hopefully you guys are doing all right.
Word. That's what's up, man. So we've known each other for a while, and I just want to, first of all, shout out Queens is in the building.
Mm-hmm.
You already know the vibes. No matter where we are,
definitely in the building.
You know the vibes. So this is my brother from another mother. He's from Queens, New York, just like myself. He's a Mastermind Connect member. He actually leads up the Mastermind Connect LA chapter, and just a phenomenal dude. But I'll let you tell a little bit about yourself.
What's up, Eric Boyce? Pleasure to meet you all. Thank you for having me on this platform. As you know, the topic is definitely a demand topic, because a lot of my friends be having this type of conversations while we sit amongst each other smoking cigars. So I'm happy that we're able to bring this to the forefront. I'm an entrepreneur, own a couple of businesses, and I'm also an artist, songwriter, and one of the main things I'm known for at this point right now is just my digital management company, which represents a lot of content creators in the social space. So thank you for having me. And if anyone needs any insight on content creating or talent management, don't ever feel afraid to reach out to me to pick my brain about anything.
Word. And also, let's talk about the music real quick, because I'm not going to let you get away without talking about the music.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I feel like the freedom of expression is necessary, and I feel like as a creator, if we tap into business, sometimes we feel like we can't tap back into our creative side. So me, I'm someone who just likes to showcase that I can do it all. So I do have music. You can check it out on my Spotify. You can go to Voice Kingdom on my Instagram and just click the link in my bio, or you can go to my website, voicekingdom.com, and just, take a listen, feel the vibes. It's all about creation. And that's really where I'm at right now in life, business, creating, and just living and loving life.
Word. Man, thank you so much. And we will drop the link where you can find his music. But I occasionally just randomly use your music for like my videos and my productions. And I'm like, yo, I got to start at like actually asking him, because I just like the song so much. I'll just use it.
Nah, it's all good, man.
So, it's all good. But these are my brothers right here. So let's get into it, fellas. Let's get into it. And I literally was going to find that song by, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was I was about to play that. Now, I love you guys because we can have like really candid conversations about dating, women, romance, etc. And I'm just going to throw this question out there. And it's the question that this event is centered around. And Abraham, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Do nice guys finish last in life in general? Do nice guys finish last?
I think so. Only because if you're too nice, you're going to let opportunities pass you by. So I'm in business. I think a typical easy example is thinking about somebody in a boardroom. They have a good idea. They're too nice to kind of chime into the conversation, break in. Maybe it's getting towards the end. You have to kind of speak up to cut somebody off that you don't want to, but you don't do it because you're too nice. Nobody hears the idea. You don't get any credit. Nothing. That's the easiest example I can think of why I feel like nice guys finish last.
Mm-hmm. And I want to get everybody's answers before we start going back and forth, because I want to hear what Mr. Boyce has to say. So Eric, the same question to you. We're talking about life, and then we're going to break it down by category. All right.
Okay. So we're just speaking more on a general perspective right now, not nothing specific, because I know his was more business focused.
Right. But yeah, in general, let's talk about, business, romance, love.
I feel like in all aspects, definitely the nice guy does finish last. Just in general, from when you take what Abraham said and just like you think about all the things that we think about when we're sitting in the room or when we go outside, it's usually the person who is like the aggressor that's usually getting all the opportunities, and the person who is usually the nice guy is usually filtering and giving those ideas away. So I definitely feel like the nice guy finishes last from a business level, from a relationship level, when it comes to friendship, when it comes to romance, and also most importantly when it comes to just like life in general.
Right.
Yeah.
So now these are two interesting perspectives, and I'm going to have to come in and agree as well. And this is why I wanted to talk about this. Now, we're sort of all on the same page, and we tried to get somebody with like an opposing opinion, but they couldn't make it tonight. But I will say this. If you disagree with these gentlemen, please remember the comment section is fully open, and we're going to be putting your comments up on the screen. Now, I'll tell you why I agree with you guys. I spent a few years being the nice guy out of guilt. So I want to ask you guys, and it didn't work out for me. Now I want to ask you guys, did you have a nice guy phase in your life? Did you have that phase where you felt like opportunities were passing you by? You weren't getting the woman that you wanted in your life. Did you have that phase? And if so, what did you learn?
So I definitely had that phase, but I was super young. I feel like it was probably middle school where I started to realize, like, as I'm being too nice, I'm getting taken advantage of. And so it was really in my developmental phase, like, I was like, okay, I need to change this. I need to be able to speak up for myself if necessary at the expense of someone else, because I can't not put myself first. And that's really just when I'd say it happened.
So did you find yourself, same question to you, Eric. Did you have that phase in your life where you felt like you were a nice guy?
Yeah, I would say like I went through that phase in I would say corporate America because uh, I started out being very green and super nice. And somewhere along the line, I had to get a little aggressive and change my ways because I've seen so many opportunities just kind of like, fall on the wayside that I couldn't attach to. And then now when I look at it, so it's kind of like almost like a flip because now I feel like I am that nice guy, but I went through a transition of starting out nice, then it wasn't working, to a transition of having to be aggressive and make uncomfortable decisions, to now being the nice guy that I always wanted to be after I reached the point where I felt like I was satisfied or secure.
Right. No, that's so I want to clear something up because we do have a comment, and I've been getting it. Some people get it, and some people don't get it. And Shanika Bricks West says, "I'd like to hear a description of what a nice guy looks like." So I want to talk about the nice guy, and when we say nice guy, there is a connotation to it, right? The people that know, right? And that's sort of the guy who shrinks himself from time to time. He's always polite. He says sorry a lot, apologizes a lot. Just a guy that is easily ran over. And when we say nice guys finish last, so there's a connotation there culturally that you kind of have to get. And it's not saying that nice guy doesn't have great qualities. There are amazing qualities to be a nice guy. Moral standards, values. Of course, everybody should have that. But if it's like one of those things, if you know, but I'm glad I'm explaining it right now. It's the guy who doesn't always use his balls in every situation, right? So let's just keep it real. And that's my description of the nice guy, right? But like I said, there are qualities to being a nice guy. And Eric, you just said that you kind of had to, stand out a little bit, speak up for yourself a little bit more, be a little bit more abrasive and aggressive. And then that allowed you to fall into your nice guy behavior because people understood your boundaries.
Yeah. So like, for example, people always come up to me now in business and they would say to me, I was afraid to meet you because over email, when we were going over negotiations, you just felt like just a really nasty, aggressive person. And now that you're here in front of us and we're sitting down, we're talking, you're just a really nice individual. And I think that's because if I would have been that nice individual over email and when we were negotiating, they would have figured out a way to take advantage of me. And we would have never even got to the point of having a meeting. So, yeah.
No, I love that. And, sometimes all right, so I'm gonna go here, and this is not me pulling a card, but it's relevant as Black men especially, right? I've realized that even like in corporate America, when I deal with corporate clients, I used to do a thing called code switching, right? And within that code switching, I realized that I would shrink myself to a degree as to not come off as the angry Black guy, because when you enter these corporate settings, you already psychologically go in with this idea of like, well, when you're green, you go in with this idea of like, all right, they may have a perception of me because there's like the 2 or 3 archetypes of what it is to be a Black man. Does that have an effect on that whole nice guy thing and being passive when you're doing business? Because I know you, Abraham, you lightly touched on corporate. Have you ever felt that sense before?
I think it's definitely focusing on the code switching aspect of it. I think as a Black man, you feel a need to not necessarily scare the people that are around you, because you know that society is afraid of you as a Black man. And I think having that weight on your shoulders is a burden, and it definitely affects how you behave, how you react to certain situations. It adds a bit of a barrier between your natural reaction and what actually makes it out to the surface and to the world for other people to see.
Mm, mm. And to you, same question, Eric.
I agree with him. Like I've been in situations where we have the fit in mentality, you know, where we're just trying to, like, even in meetings, not say too much where it's like, what did he just say? But just say enough where it's like you were present, you know? So sometimes I feel like we don't do ourselves a good service because, like, I think someone said it in the room, how we're not giving all of ourselves or something like that. We're just giving like a piece of us, and that causes us, you know, people to walk all over us, you know?
Right. And that was, I think, from Erickson said, I recently saw a post that said, nice guys finish last because they tend to give more than they receive. Let others go first and sometimes accept less than they deserve. That's real. That's real. And you know what I found is that there's also there's some blockages, right? You know, if you understand your energy points, that, you know, if you're coming into a situation, whether that be from a business perspective or romantic, then, you know, if you've had past experiences where your voice wasn't respected or you went through a traumatic situation, that throat chakra is going to be blocked. You're not going to speak up for yourself in all situations. So thank you for answering that. Now I want to go to what we really want to talk about. I want to talk about love and romance and sex and whatnot. Talk about those things. All right, Reverend Doctor. But as far as relationships are concerned, you know, women are they're amazing. I love women. My mom's a woman, obviously. But as far as needs and wants and these qualifications that women want in relationships, and there's a list. There definitely is a list. There's a lot of it. They want you to be assertive. They want you to be kind. They want you to be of a certain height. They want you to make a certain amount of money. They want you to, like, you know, be a thug, but, like, you know, be, you know, sensitive, right? And I want to bring this up. How has this played out in your romantic relationships in your life? You know, have you found that you've had to sort of meet in the middle and have this balance, or have you, you know, found that it's better to be one over the other?
I've just been me. It's like I'm not going to change myself and present a fake persona to a woman to conquer her or to get her. I'm going to be me, and that's going to be what's going to attract the right woman for me. And everything else is kind of situational, honestly.
Now, look, all right. So I want to turn this up a little bit, because y'all motherfuckers in the comment section are lying your ass off right now. And I want to be very. Somebody just said, Alfonso Brown, I'm about to put you on the barbecue real quick. Just be yourself. Neglect the idea of stereotypes, right? Okay, right? This whole idea of, like, just be yourself.
I would love to speak on that.
No, I want to keep it real. Just be yourself. Now, what if you're an asshole?
Be yourself.
Right. Right.
Right. But
right.
So.
And put that up against the societal pressure. Go ahead.
I feel like humanity is a spectrum. Like, this is a bit pie in the sky, but humanity is a spectrum. There's somebody out there who likes almost everything. Yeah. For better or worse, there's somebody out there who likes almost everything. So if you are yourself, it might take more time, it might be more difficult, but you are going to be able to find it. There are certain things where you'll get more of you'll cast a wider net if you fall into certain buckets. Yeah. And I think women, from my experience and my conversations on these sorts of subjects, there's a delicate balance of a woman wanting to feel protected versus wanting to feel safe with you. So it's like, if you're an asshole, it's okay if you can be an asshole to other people, but they don't want you to be an asshole to them. Mm-hmm. And it's like that sort of balance is, some people can navigate it, some people can't.
Right. And that's really discernment.
Yeah.
Having that discernment. So Eric, so what do you think, man? You know, because I hear this a lot. You know, a lot of people talk shit online, right? Because it sounds good. Talk shit. You know, oh, this is what you should do. But you go into work every day and code switch, right? And then you're texting from behind like the internet. I'm gonna keep it real. Then your boss shows up. You got to put your phone down. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about you know, showing up as yourself in relationships. You know,
I would definitely say that like going back to like just the term, you know, nice guys finish last. I would say that I'm a living story of that. You know, I was in a relationship for 13 years, and I felt like the storyline of what I wanted, my whole basis of success was based around a family, and I put a lot of things on hold to get to that point of what I thought was success for me, and it still is. And then I kind of like put everything together, did everything I was supposed to do to get that. And I knew I had to get a job and, you know, find a woman. And I did that. Then we got married, had kids. And then, you know, unfortunately it didn't work out. And me, I'm still looking at myself like, you know, like, damn, like, how did I end up here if, you know, I was literally doing everything that, you know, a woman would dream of,
right,
of me to do. And then a lot of the things that, you know, my ex was chasing was more so, I would say, the things that most women were actually trying to get away from. And were trying to, like, when I would talk to women now, they would tell me, you know, this is what I want. And I was like, that's what I was doing for my wife. You know,
right.
Why is it now you guys on the outside are craving it, but she's not? And it's just one of those things where it goes back to what Alfonso said, where if I would have just been transparent from the beginning of all the things that I wanted from start and just been myself completely, because I feel like we don't go into relationships our full self. We go into a relationship sometimes trying to satisfy the person to get their number, or try to satisfy them to get into their drawers or whatever it is, just to get another step ahead. But what happens is along that time period, you guys start building connection. You guys start building a relationship. And then that's when the compromise starts to happen. And you start asking yourself, how much of myself did I compromise in this relationship? And you look and you're like, damn, how did I get here? And I feel like that's where our relationship was. I feel like a lot of the things that I wanted to do, which was everything that I'm doing now, I put a lot of that on hold for the sacrifice of being the best guy for that person. And it ended up backfiring on me because I wasn't completely just transparent from the beginning of time. So now I would go into a new relationship with Alfonso's kind of like theory of, this is what I want. Right. This is how I want it. And if I don't find it, that's fine. And I agree with Abraham when he said, like, you know, there's assholes out there for everyone. You know, there's going to be somebody out there for someone. And you just gotta, it may take you time to find that person. But I do feel like when you do find that person, it's going to be the best relationship ever, because you were true. You were completely honest, you know?
Thank you for your honesty. And this is why I wanted to, you know, ask that question the way that I did, because, you know, like I said, a lot of people can say all this, oh, this is, I know this, right? But you have experience, right? And, you know, it's different when you're giving advice from a place of experience versus, you know, just trying to sound cool, right? Because, you know, relationships are complicated. You know, as men, like I said, I say these three things. We are taught to provide, protect, and absorb. And it's within that third process when you absorb, right? Just absorb. You're not speaking up for yourself. You're not living in full expression, is when you start getting entangled in bullshit, right? That you don't even want to do, and you don't speak up because you just want your partner to be happy. Because you just want, you know, that whole concept of happy wife, happy life. I don't agree with that shit. Both parties need to be happy, and if they're not happy, then they're not talking. They don't have true communication. So I honor you. Thank you for sharing your story. And And I just want to read some of these comments because we have a ton of comments. But I want to highlight Henry Walker's comment. You have to find the space, place, person that fits in with and digs who you are when you are being your most authentic self. The problem comes in when we are attempting to meet people where they are when they are not as open to that to begin with. So I love that comment. Thank you. And Omar keeps asking me to explain something. Hold up. Can we first define last? I like to point out we are solely speaking of learned behavior of cultural concepts, but these ideas are not finite. I don't understand. I don't remember. Yeah, you're going to have to watch that over, homeboy. So we're going to keep it moving here. And Omar, please provide context to your question. So we're going to talk about somebody that a lot of men hate on. And I've noticed they hate on this dude. The football player Russell Wilson, who is married to Sierra. So he is like, to me, the quintessential nice guy. He just happens to be a nice guy with a lot of M's in his bank. And a lot of women love him. He expresses his love openly for his woman. And I'm all about that. I love that. Actually, I don't see a problem with it. But why do so many men hate on Russell Wilson, bro? Come on, football player.
I think it's more so because, I think it's more so because Sierra's getting Russell at a different stage of his life. You know what I mean? Like and Russell's getting Sierra at a different stage of her life. She already went through the motions of the rebuilding and all of those things. And I feel like it's easier to tap into somebody. Like, think about it, coming from Future to like Russell is like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you've been through some stuff. You know what I mean? So I feel like people hate on him because I feel like they look at like he just walked into something that was already like kind of like maneuvered. I always say, like, if a relationship doesn't work, that person just prepared the next person for a better relationship. You know what I mean? Because they already went through the motions and everything together. And now this person's going to be the best person for the next person. And you did all the work. You was in the gym. You know what I mean? You was doing everything. So I feel like that's probably the reason why.
Right. That's what's up, man. I love that. And Abraham, same question to you. Russell Wilson, man, you know, when I'm online, you know, whenever, you know, like one of these like blog related Instagram, like they'll just see a bunch of angry dudes in there, like, man, fucking suck, blah, 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 blah. You know, obviously that's a lot of like Future fans and shit, but like, why do a lot of dudes hate on Russell Wilson?
I think it's just he's got this perfect persona and people hate perfection. And I don't know if he's got a good public, like, I don't even know that much about him other than who he's been with, and he went through Wisconsin and like his career. Yeah. It's like you don't hear bad things about him. It's kind of like Beyonce, where you don't hear bad things about Beyonce. Right. And then you hear stories where people are signing NDAs. There's just a persona of perfection, and people hate that. People have the complex where they want to see the heroes fall. And I think that's just why people hate on him.
Damn, that's deep, bro. I never thought about it like that, you know? Because I even saw myself like, dude, when Russell Wilson first came on the scene, I was like with Sierra, I was having so many relationship problems. I was like, look at this motherfucker right here. I was like, look at this. I found myself even going like, damn, this dude is fucking perfect. This motherfucker's a quarterback. He fucked up the Super Bowl, but he's a quarterback. Like, this dude is like amazing. And it wasn't hate. It was just like, damn, I got to step my game up. So I didn't get like that feeling of like, you know, man, fuck this guy. I got that feeling of like, you know what? This man loves his woman. And I know what it means to love a woman so much. You want to let everybody know. You want to scream it from the mountains. You posted her on the gram. You're proud of her. But I want to bring up this, and let's go deep. Let's go a little deep. We ain't got nothing but time. Y'all motherfuckers quarantined down. And by the way, I'm in Georgia and nobody wears a mask out here. It's insane. Sidebar. So one thing, Eric, that you brought up was doing everything the right way, right? Doing everything that you thought was right as a man in your marriage and that you thought would be celebrated forever because that's what marriages are about. And she actually didn't want that, right? She didn't want that necessarily. How can we as men start going into relationships with what we want. Because I don't, like I said, I don't think we consider what would make us happy. And I said the whole happy life, happy wife, happy life thing. But what about the man? How can we start building a better bridge of communication in relationships, do you think, based off your experience?
I would definitely say you would have to go into the relationship, number one, not thinking you can mold someone into what you think they will become.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the biggest struggle that men and women both do. We think that we can mold people, and that as long as we give them the guidance and they're with us, that, well, maybe one day they would change. The truth of the matter is they're not going to change until they go through their own self-reflection and life experience. And that necessarily may not happen with you. And you have to accept that. So number one, go into the relationship or the relationship that you're trying to pursue being yourself, based on what Alfonso said. And then understanding that if that's the way she is today, that's who she's going to be tomorrow. You got to live with that.
Abraham, different question for you, single brother. You know, technically both of y'all, but single brother Abraham. Dating during COVID.
Yeah.
Swipe left, swipe right. You know the vibes. How has dating been for you during this whole COVID quarantine nonsense?
It's been it hasn't been that bad actually.
Left and right. What's going on? Talk to me.
It's just, I mean, there's a lot of swiping. For me, it's just being upfront when you have those initial conversations of like, what are you looking for? It's like, I'm not really looking for anything serious right now. You are? Okay, bye. Like, nice meeting you. Let's not waste each other's time. Because if you don't do that, if you don't stick to what you know you want, then you end up putting yourself into bad situations. It's like, maybe if you have all of these qualities, like, I'll change my mind. But what, do you have these qualities? No, you don't? Okay, then still bye. Because like, that's the way I'm approaching it, because I'm not going to waste my time or your time. And it's not worth the risk in this literal environment where going outside is dangerous.
Like, so basically, you ain't looking for nothing serious right now. And you're up front of, so okay, let's pose the scenario. And boys, get to you. Let's pose a scenario. Because do you use any like dating apps right now?
Yeah, Hinge and Tinder.
Okay, all right. So fuck with me on this, all right? And I can curse because I can do that. Now, all right, you meet a nice looking woman. She's exactly your preference. You get, there's a little vibe going on. Oh, like, oh yeah, you like Too Short too. Oh, I saw that person. Oh, blah blah blah. You start talking. There's an exchange. And you're like, oh, I like this girl. But what are you looking for? It comes up, and she says relationship. Now she's looking good, and I mean good. You're very attracted to her. You like her mind. At that point, when she says, I'm looking for serious relationship and I'm not looking for anything casual, where do you go?
So this is something that I've kind of had on a personal journey. I would say before I would bend or break and be like, okay, maybe we can talk about something serious, because there was, to me, a feeling of fear of not being able to go out and find somebody else. It's like an insecurity or a lack of self-confidence. But now it's like, you know what? I'm able to find something else. Like, I don't have to settle. And I think if you aren't what I'm looking for, and we both know that, and then I think, okay, you have these qualities, but not everything, and then I start changing myself, that's settling. Right. So for me now, I'm not caving and being like, okay, I'll give you what you want, because it's not what I want. And certain things are mutually exclusive. Like, if I want something, one side of a coin, and you want the other one of us is going to be unhappy. And that's not a good way to start anything off.
So you're being more conscious of your time. You're in your grown man game right now. I like it. So, boys, different question.
Before you go on the other question, I do want to tap into what he said. So with you saying what you just said, do you feel like because now I'm new to this whole dating scene, and it's different because I haven't been in the dating scene since I was 21. I'm 35 now, and I felt like dating when I was 21 was a lot more, I would say, organic because there wasn't a lead sheet of a list that I can go through where I can continue to swipe and say, you know what, there's gonna be another one that's gonna be better when I swipe to the left. So a question I have for you is like, do you think it's easier for you now to, like, when Mike made his question about the girl want a relationship, but right now you trying to just, like, you know, enjoy yourself. Do you think it's easier now to deal with something like that because you know there's about 100 more people in your area on the app that you could kind of like dive into?
So I don't think it's necessarily the app. I think it's just the concept that there are other people who are available. Like whether or not you meet them organically, whether or not you meet them through friends. It's because I understand what you're saying, but there's the fact that everything is happening through the apps is really just a byproduct of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I think that look at that a bit separately than the fact that once things open up, once there's other forms of social interaction, the concept will still be the same.
Got you. And the reason why I asked you that question from personal experience, my friends were pushing me. They were like, in order for you to move on, you got to start dating. So they convinced me to get on all these apps. And one of the things that I didn't like on Hinge, which was people would match with me and then some would engage in conversation and then some won't ever engage in conversation at all and then unmatch me. And the thought process that I would have to that is that they found something better. So I feel like there's a huge struggle right now for me in COVID, right? Because I feel like on the apps, because most of the time that's how we're meeting them now because everybody's on quarantine. I feel like there are people out there who are using the apps in a way where we're not, but they're using the app in a way where it's like they can engage in a conversation with you once and they may like it, may be cool, but then maybe you wasn't maybe number one on their list, you were maybe number two or number three on their list, and then number two just got back to them 2 weeks later, and then they unmatch you. So I feel like right now is a very tough time for men from where I come from, talking about I haven't dated since I was 21, to tap into this league now and get my feet wet. I feel like it's very difficult.
I agree with that, but I think conceptually that's always been the case. Like with dating, that's really what all of it is about. If you're dating multiple people at the same time, there's going to be one person that kind of takes the lead and they pull ahead, and that's who you end up with. But now I think it's weird because we can see it. We can see it electronically. There's a paper trail. And it's like, I think jumping from having your last kind of entrance to a relationship being at 21, it's a bit of a shock to jump all the way to this now. Like I'm probably used to it because I've been in and out of relationships throughout that time.
Gotcha.
So I think once you get past that sort of sticker shock, it'll kind of understand like, okay, this is really just what happens. It's the same thing that's been happening throughout history. It just looks a little different.
Yeah.
Got you. I think you said a powerful thing, that it's the paper trail that bothers us all.
Yeah.
But like you said, you've been in the game longer than me. So
yeah. No, he's the same thing happened to me. You know, I was in a relationship for 8 years and I was at a party, COVID party, and my boy was like, yo, dude, you single now? Oh, you gotta get on this app. And bro, I was like, well, I've never done online dating before. And, you know, all right, so let me check this out. And dude, it really felt like a meat market. It really did. It felt like a meat market. And I was on it for a month and I jumped off. But Eric, I had the same feeling, right? Like you'll swipe probably 150 times and then find those two women that like you're obviously it's visual. You like the things that she has to say second. And you're like, okay, cool. And like, you hit the match or whatever. And then now you're waiting. Now it's a waiting game. And there are those on the app that you can just tell, like dudes are just like matching 100 times a day, right? And you're like, well, if she gets back to me, it's cool or not. And I found that, I was like, oh man, damn, I really like this chick, like physically, and like, because there's such a point that we can go to, like, okay, she's pretty, and then from her profile or about us section, she's kind of funny and she's interesting. We like the same things. So I started to feel like that. And there was a feeling of devaluing myself that I did not like. So I deleted it. And then especially after somebody recognized me from the app that like recognized my ex, I was like, oh God. I was like, this is a mess. So believe it or not, I found the woman that I'm currently dating right now just on Facebook. Like we had, it was like an exchange, a comment section. And then, there was a vibe there. But you're searching for that vibe inorganically through dating apps. Now, one of our comments said, and this is from Jason Santiago, I unsubscribed to all dating sites in 2015. Best thing I ever did. Began to feel like a slot machine or a lotto. So I want to move away from dating sites right now. We're going to stay on love and romance and sex because this is very relevant. Let's talk about social media as a whole. Now, what has been your frequency with dealing with women on social media, the DMs? We all know it goes down in the DM. What has been your situation with like the DMs? Is it a safe place?
Is it a safe place? What do you mean by a safe place?
Is it a safe place to be dating, brother? To start something up?
I mean,
or is it an illusion?
I think it's about the same as a dating app. You're looking at somebody's picture in a short synopsis that they put out to the world, and you're using that to reach out to them. To me, it's the same thing. Like, there's no difference.
I'm gonna chime into Alfonso's comment. DMs are never safe, and I'm actually gonna say the opposite. And I'm gonna say he's correct. Alfonso's correct, but Abraham, I would say, like, it's different, and that's the reason why if someone is DMing me, I'll pull them off of social media and get them to text or do a call, because I feel like people have built these alter avatars on social media that they live behind. And the moment you pull them out of their comfort zone of the DM, you get the realness and authenticity of who that person really is. And it's weird because it's like you can DM me back and forth nonstop, but the moment we move to text or to a conversation, you're MIA. And it's because that's where her entire life is being spent, is on that app. Right. And she can't get off the timeline, and she can't get off the IG stories, and she sees your message pop up, so she's still in the app and she'll respond to it, but you pull them out of the app, and that's where you get that realness of a person. I tend to believe that it's a lot of fluff in the social media dating when it's someone who you're really trying to get to know. And I feel like you can genuinely find someone, but you got to go through a couple of those moments to really like carve through like everything that's out there.
Word. So, one of the things that, and thank you for that, that's real, because you got a big social media following, and, find me, hashtag find me, is your hashtag. And, the thing about dating apps versus social media is, to me, the dating apps feel like you're limited in the stunting you can do, right? You have like these 3 boxes, and you have like one photo that you have to choose. That's like the marquee photo, and then you can upload the rest. But like social media is like you really get to take a walk through people's subconscious mind. You know, what they did last year, what they did 2 years before, what's going on with them, and you're really watching this highlight reel of their life. You're never really going to see, like my boy Omar said, not safe. They get the lie of the best, but they don't show that dirty ass house. So one of the main things I did when I started like dating again was I was like, all right, cool, let's do a video call. And if she denies the video call, I know that it's like it's not real. It's not like, you know, because video can't lie. You can't lie with video. Now photos, you can crop them all you want. So a lot of men are out here getting catfish. A lot of women are out here getting catfish. So I wanted to definitely move on. And this is a big question for me because I had my hoe phase. Should men have a hoe phase in life? And y'all already know what the hoe phase is, so stop back and shout.
I feel like both parties should. I feel like women should have a whole phase and men should have a whole phase. And the reason is because going back to my relationship, I was the only man my ex was with. So she had no one to compare me to. So if I did something wrong, it was the worst of wrongs because she couldn't compare me to another man. So I would definitely suggest everyone who's out there to hoe around until they find someone that they care about. 100%.
I definitely agree. That's interesting what you said about not having someone to compare to. For me, I've always thought about it from the experience perspective, like gaining that experience, realizing what you want, realizing what you don't want, so that you know kind of where you want to go when you go forward. But that comparison, I think, is also powerful because when I think about the relationships where I was more experienced, there was always a bit of a butting heads because that lack of experience reared itself in weird ways. And it was, yeah.
Nah, 100%.
Yeah, man. So look, man, as far as legacy is concerned, you know, every man that I know wants to leave a legacy behind. And, you know, this is something that is like, you know, it's my everyday right now. You know, I've been an entrepreneur for my entire life. I've never had to work corporate before, so I'm not even familiar with corporate. But waking up every day, as you know, Boyce, you're an entrepreneur. You have to be excellent every day in some capacity. But it's double that when you're now a father. And Abraham, you don't have kids. Eric, you have a daughter. That sort of everyday excellence becomes the expectation for you and the people around you. They look up to you, right? And when you are in the process of creating a legacy, you have to stay sharp as possible. So as far as the nice guys, what I realize is there's a certain level of assertiveness that you have to move with in order to get the things that you want for your life. Because settling is expensive. And if you settle, you're constantly going to be paying that debt. As far as your legacy is concerned, do you ever get the butterflies of understanding and knowing what it takes to create that legacy? How do you feel about that? Because as men, a lot of us are defined by our legacy. What role does that play in your life? You know, like having that bravery to wake up every day and go after building that legacy for yourself. You ever think about that? Like, what will it take to build that legacy?
I feel like that's an ongoing conversation that I think anybody who always strives for greatness every day goes through. I think it's a everlasting conversation because as humans, we're never satisfied. So if someone is truly building a legacy, they're just never happy where they're at, you know? And I feel like there's certain things that need to happen in order for you to continue that journey, which is sometimes evaluating yourself as most people who are chasing legacy are usually have a group of people around them that they look up to them. They usually expect them to give them, you know, mentorship, relationship advice, financial advice, some type of, you know, support in some type of way. And I think it's the responsibility of people that's chasing a legacy to know when to say to yourself that you're not perfect, you can't do everything on your own, and you have to take time for self and know how to be honest to people that are around you. Like when they're asking for things and when they're trying to get you to help them, you have to say, well, today I can't because I need time for myself because I'm going through something. And
Right.
I think the more of that happens, the more people can continue to chase their legacy and be free of just like the stress and the drama that comes with it. So for me, that's what I do on a day-to-day basis is I'm starting to learn how to kind of like accept more reality that I can't do everything alone. You know, I always tell people I'd rather have 2% of $1 billion company than 100% of a company that makes nothing, you know? So that's kind of like how I live my life. And I do that in my personal relationships as well, too.
That's what's up. So legacy, Abraham, how important is legacy to you?
Legacy it's important to me. I think the biggest thing for me right now is just figuring out what I want my legacy to be. Where I want it to kind of go from here, how I want to impact people, and then once I do get a family, how I want to be able to pass that down. Those are honestly things that I'm still working through and thinking about.
Word. You know, look, being a father is like on the job training, man. Like you learn. I have 3 beautiful children that I love, and great comment. Being a father is the best, scariest, most beautiful, ugliest, amazing, terrifying thing ever. I have 4 girls, and it's terrifying, but so rewarding. That's what's up, man. Respect, Ramon. Respect. And once again, guys, please drop your questions. We're going to get into Q&A if you have any Q&A for these gentlemen. But what I can say is, Eric, to your point, you know, it's you are being, especially when you're a father, you are being observed every day.
Yep.
It's a different thing. You are being observed every day. So even the woman that you choose to love or bring into your life, she has to have those morals, those values that match your own. Because obviously, if you get into a deeper relationship, she's going to be stepmoms. You know, So I don't think a lot of women understand that we are thinking about that. You know, us guys who have kids, you know, from previous relationships, we are thinking about this. We are thinking about, you know, yes, do you turn me on? Can I have a conversation with you? Can I have that awkward silence? Can I build with you? Can I bounce my creative ideas off of you? You know, will you make a great stepmother to my child? So we are considering those things. I think that we need to be a little bit more vocal about them and have conversations like this. This is why I decided to take more of a different approach to this conversation and not just say what sounds good, because it's so easy to just say what sounds good. All right, so wrapping it up here, we don't have any questions. Let me see if we have any comments. Somebody said, very hard to be as an entrepreneur. Most people don't understand the mindset. Most people settle in life. Entrepreneurs never will.
I think that's a deep question because there was a comment that was made about me in regards to she said, when is it ever going to be enough? Like I make enough money where, you know, you don't have to work and you know, you could just, you know, be with our daughter and just, you know, continue to enjoy the happiness of that. When is it going to be, like, when are you ever going to be satisfied? And to his comment, it makes a lot of sense, is that being with our entrepreneur, not even just dating one, but being married to one, is very tough, because someone like me, especially me being from Queens gets the money. Just gonna throw that out there real quick. You know, I'm never satisfied when it comes to opportunity that could potentially provide a better opportunity for my daughter. So because of that, if someone wants me to be complacent, I'm the worst person to date, because I'm always going to be thinking about new ways to elevate and to expand. And I tell people and they think I'm lying, but I said I don't think I'll be done with elevating my life until I can drill a hole in Dubai and oil's popping out and my name's on it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm setting the bar real high for myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like, that was that was a real comment because it's something that actually happened with me. That conversation happened. Like, when are you going to be satisfied? You want to do music? You want to start new businesses? When is it? When are you ever going to be happy? And I am happy. It's just I want to be happier. And that's just how I am.
You basically got to have a woman that understands generational wealth and the pursuit of generational wealth, and the grind. And Eric, that's so real. I'm an entrepreneur as well. I was in a relationship with somebody who was an entrepreneur as well. And so we had that common understanding of, hey, I'm not going to see you for about 14 hours today. And that's okay. But when we do get together, it's lit. So that's real. I respect that. And we have a question here. That is a question I never ask because I can give all I have and it's never enough. When is giving all you have and not being appreciated too much? Where is that line? And Abraham, maybe you could jump in on that.
Yeah. I think you need to figure out relationships where I've given more than I received, and it starts to take a toll after a while. And you need to look back and figure out if they're only taking from you. Maybe you need to find someone who's not going to have that selfish of an approach with you, because that is selfishness. That they're only taking and not giving anything back. That's selfishness, and you need to realize that and then decide what you're going to do about it. Because the first step is really just acknowledging it. I think a lot of people don't do that because they have a fear of being alone, or they don't want to accept that they might not be with that person.
No, that's real. I mean, so this is just me. And because I'm 42, because of my age, I think also men who are a certain age, especially if you're like mid 30s, early 40s, like me, I don't want any more kids, right? So I don't want any more kids. I have 3 beautiful kids. I was in 2 long-term relationships. And I actually haven't been single like for a large period of time. And so when I was dating, or dating, I was only interested in dating women who already had kids and who didn't want any more kids. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's real. Like, I'm like, listen, I don't want you to be in a relationship with me for 3-4 years, expecting to like have a kid. And like, I can't deliver on that because that's not fair to you and your goals. So I have to be mindful. I think what wraps this whole thing up is men and women, but men, I'm speaking to you, is being more mindful when you're dating, right? And Abraham, the thing that I appreciate about your honest approach, which is like, I'm not looking for anything serious right now, is that you prevent yourself from disappointing somebody and hurting somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And she may not be able to see that from the beginning because she may like you so much, but you're actually saving her a lifetime of pain. And sometimes mindfulness, the truth in the mindfulness can hurt. The truth can hurt sometimes if you're not ready for it. So that's just, my little thing is men need a date with mindfulness at the top of their brains. We have one more thing. This is one more question here, comment actually. My mentality is I'm about the project. Money is a byproduct. I learned being mission motivated is so much more powerful than money motivated. Okay. That brings up a topic. Having shared goals in a relationship. Shared goals. So how important is it to you guys to be in a relationship with a woman or in, whatever you're in with a woman and having shared goals? Let's talk about that.
I think that's huge because so I've lived in like 5 different cities. And in certain relationships that I've gotten into in those places, I didn't want to stay in that city long term, and the woman did. So that right there is an unshared goal or a dichotomy, so to speak. And because of that, it put a strain on the relationship because I had to leave for work or something like that, and they were still there. So then it's a long distance relationship, and it's not the same anymore. So having those shared goals and those shared, really the big things, I think it's huge because then you know that you're going to be in the same place and you're not going to diverge. Because once you start diverging, then where does the relationship go?
Right. And I extend that same question to you, Eric.
I definitely feel like shared goals are super important, and also that I think throughout the relationship they have to be constantly reminded, because I think at a certain point where maybe one person may be going in a different direction and you're still kind of like full force on those goals, sometimes they may forget what those goals were, because me and my previous relationship, we had shared goals and we accomplished them, but there was a couple that I felt like I still didn't accomplish yet. And I think there was somewhere along the line that there was some type of lost memory of that. And because of that, it created a lot of tension, because it was like, yeah, you wanted to do that when you was like 22, 23. You still want to do it now at 35? So I feel like shared goals needs to be something that is constantly brought up, consistently in the conversation. If both parties are truly committed to that, I definitely feel like you can never drop the ball on speaking on it, because your spouse or a partner will get amnesia down the line and forget. I'm telling you.
Hey, listen. It's like that Men in Black thing where you just like look into this, and like you don't remember the first 3 years of the relationship when I had to. Never mind, but we won't go there. And that's the thing. I don't count. I'm not into like, I do this for you, you do this for me, you did blah 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 blah. But there is a give and take in a relationship, right? And that take and the give need to be honored and remembered. One thing Omar says is shared values as goals always change, but they must be aligned in some way. Thank you. All right. And then Ramon, mind your damn business, brother. Off topic. What are you sipping on? I got Bullet Bourbon over here. I got to come hang out with you, brother. That's my man, Ramon. Shout out to Ramon. Shout out to Selena. Shout out to Nicole. All the people that have been talking in the comment section. We thank you so much. Oh, but we have one really good one, and I don't want to let this get away. Cynthia says, I met a man that immediately went into telling me that he demands a submissive woman. Somebody's doing U-turns. All right. I can be submissive, but I feel like it's something that needs to be earned. He thinks I am wrong, so I'm looking for some input, please. Woof. Okay. Let's talk about earning the submissiveness in a relationship as it pertains to being a man and a woman.
I would say, in terms of directly addressing the question, I think there's two things. One, it seems like there probably needs to be some sort of a time frame for each of them to know whether or not they're going to be happy. And two, there needs to be a definition of what needs to be done to earn the submissiveness.
Okay. Mr. Boyce.
I think everything happens organically, and you should be able to feel the vibe. Someone should not demand it.
Right.
It just happen. That we're all adults. I feel like if someone is telling you to be more submissive, there's something that they're not doing that is, causing you to hold back.
Right.
I think so. The way I'm getting it is, I know there's like there's a thing called dominant submissive relationships, like a specific, like there's kink fetishes, things that go into a very sexual realm, and like sometimes people have like their people that like go into that specifically. So that's what I'm understanding this as. And I get where it's like, if you say like you need to submit to me in a normal relationship, like, okay, that's a bit weird. But I'm getting this as those sorts of vibes where it's like you need to kind of talk about it outright and see what exactly it is.
You know, I don't think it's gonna, Cynthia, personally, I don't think it's gonna work, because when somebody has to ask you to submit, then you have a master slave relationship, and it's not gonna work in the long run. Yeah, right. Run the other direction. Thank you, Noah. I don't think it's gonna work. There's some people who do like that. You know, he may want, you know, a sub dom relationship. You know, there's times, right? So, you know, the woman I'm dating right now, she was doing something, right? And I said, I should kick it right now and be the man and just take that hammer out her hand, because she wanted to do something, right? She was doing something. I just did something for her. And I was like, well, there's another part of me that doesn't want to coddle her. So she gets used to me doing everything. Because I did that in my last relationship. I did every single thing, right? That had to do with stuff around the house. Not everything, but stuff around the house. I, you know, did the clothes, made sure that got dropped off. I ain't washed them myself, dropped them off, did whatever I had to do. And I didn't allow her to grow as a woman in certain instances. And I think sometimes when we seek these sub-dom relationships, we can hinder somebody's growth, right? We can hinder somebody's growth because we also have to allow people to have space. And I have no interest in dominating somebody in a relationship consistently. I do think with divine unions, there is no push and pull. You know, I think there's that frequency that's understood where it's like when you understand each other's vibe, it goes without saying. Like, all right, my baby got that. You know her enough. So that's just my approach. Somebody said submissiveness is on both parts. Sometimes a man needs to take that role, and there is a time where a woman takes it and feels all on strong points. I am good with bills and budgets, but suck at scheduling or remembering things. I'll cover the budgeting and all that. You remember the dates for the bills and whatnot. Okay, all right. Makes sense. You know, different strokes for different folks. All right, so one last comment, and we're about to wrap this up. Cynthia says, oh, I am most deaf. Not with the bullshit. He said I'm too dominant. Well, Cynthia Marie Valentine, I think you found your answer, and I wish you well in that situation and situations moving forward. But I want to thank everybody for attending tonight. I kind of wanted this to flow, and it flowed. I love it. I want to thank Eric Boyce. And Eric, I want to know once again where they can find, well, they want to know where they can find your projects and the music that you're working on currently right now.
Sure, you can follow Socialebs, SOCIALEBS.com. That's my digital management company. And you can also find my music at boycekingdom.com, BOYCE kingdom.com.
Excellent. Abraham, I know you suck at social media.
I have an Instagram. It's AO Alini at 117. So AOILLINI 117. Okay,
great. And he's in the Philly area, you know, East Coast. That's what's up. But I want to thank Manny for managing everything on the back end. Shout out to Manny Almonte. Shout out to the Mastermind Brethren. These are the kind of conversations that we normally have between us within the group. And I really, really appreciate everybody for showing up today. Yes. He's actually on Spotify. If you put in Boyce, BOYCE, you can find him there. He has some really great music. But I want to thank everybody for attending tonight and commenting and just supporting. And I want to blow this up, and I want to hold everybody accountable here. So we're entering into another lockdown. It's been rolling out. This is like the second lockdown that we're going to get into, and I want to talk to the men right now. It's shown statistically that men suffer a lot with mental health. A lot of our relationships and how we get up with our brethren has changed. A lot of things are happening virtually, and this platform exists. It's called the Mastermind Connect, and we are all across the country. We have members all over the country. Eric is in LA right now, in California right now. Abraham is in Philly. I'm chilling out in Georgia right now. Manny is back in New York, but we still made this happen. And I want to stress the importance of having a brotherhood in order to deal with the ordeals that you are going to deal with in this next lockdown. I think it's very imperative that you allow yourself to be vulnerable and open to meeting new people. We have breathing meditation courses. We have business, finance, and economics workshops. We just have general events where we play music. You play a track, I play a track. It's just a really great brotherhood. And if you want to sign up, you can sign up to mastermindconnect.com and get it in. We even have Omar Davis in here, who's our holistic guy down in Texas. And he's a founding member of the Mastermind Connect. So with that said, for more information, go to mastermindconnect.com, and you can tune in tomorrow, December 23rd, for the Holy Men event with Omar Davis. That's going to be on here on the Mastermind Connect page. And also, if you want to support my other venture, is the Rebel Camp. The rebelcamp.com is a self-development platform like no other. We blend creativity, realness. We have amazing high vibrational people that are all on the same wave that want to heal, transmute, and thrive. I am currently launching my own self-development academy called the Inner Warriorship Academy. And you can follow us on @InnerWarriorship. So at Inner Warriorship Academy. So I want to thank everybody and the Rebel Camp. I want to thank everybody for participating. And remember to attend the Holy Men event tomorrow, December 23rd. Please RSVP. I salute everybody, and please share this video and support us. Thanks, guys. Peace.